Good morning. It's good to be here and to be with you. I'm Holley Ulbrich, and I'm a member of UUFC's Worship Associate Team. Each week, this community comes together to participate in worship, music, and reflection. This is where we seek to have our hearts opened and our imaginations fired. This is the place that reminds us that we are deeply connected to one another and to all living things. Even though our building is closed, we gather together for weekly online worship. At 11:30 a.m. on Sunday mornings, we also gather for social connection and the sharing of joys and concerns in our Zoom meeting room. Please join us. If you're joining us for the first time this morning, welcome. This fellowship is a religious community grounded in the heritage and principles of Unitarian Universalism. We seek to create loving community, inspire joy and spiritual growth, and support courageous action. All are welcome, regardless of religious background, political persuasion, ethnicity, age, ability, sexual orientation, gender identity, or expression. If you have a desire to explore questions of truth and meaning, and are respectful of our diversity of people and beliefs, you have found kindred spirits here. If you'd like more information about the fellowship or about Unitarian Universalism, please see information about us on our website, uufc.org. If you are interested in getting our weekly connection, weekly newsletter, the Weekly Connection, so that you can get connected to our community for online social events, our weekly sharing of joys and concerns, and our collective efforts to support local social justice work, please reach out to the office by email or on our website. Let us begin our worship with these words by Andrea Hawkins Kemper. Gather we now into this space, this time when the wheel turns and the veil shatters. Gather we now to remember, to grieve, to prophesy, to complete our harvest before the long dark comes. Gather we now to tell the old stories and sing the old songs, to be as we have always been, the voice of our people eternal. Gather we now to celebrate that which was, that which is, and that which will be. Gather we now, as we have always done, united by story and bound by love.
Thank you, Holley, for those opening words. It is so good to be with you today. My name is Reverend Christina Branum-Martin, and I'm the interim minister here at the fellowship. And I'm recording today inside the sanctuary, a building we haven't seen together in so long, but we are here together in spirit. We join together with other Unitarian Universalist congregations who light a chalice to begin worship. So I invite you to gather yours at home if you have one, and I shall light ours now. Let us join in our words of affirmation spoken by the fellowship each week. We gather together in the spirit of love, with justice as our guide. This is our chosen covenant to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth with freedom, and to care for one another. And now for stones for joys and concerns. The journey of life brings pleasures and pains, satisfactions and regrets. As persons who are seeking truth and meaning, our everyday task is one of honoring such experiences, as well as integrating them. We fit the pieces together, and in doing so, we find the larger shape our lives are reaching towards. Part of this process of meaning-making can be the ritual of joys and concerns to which we now turn. For this morning's ritual, we have water, and we have river stones. The stones are smooth, and the stones have weight. They're indicative of both life's pleasures and times of ease, as well as life's burdens and times of heaviness. This week, the stones I share are of concerns. I share this for those of us who are grieving a dear cousin lost this week. I share this stone for those in our community who are teachers. For the COVID numbers are rising in our area. May you all stay healthy and find perseverance in this trying time. I share this stone for all of us who hold anxiety about the divisions and possible civil unrest in our near future surrounding the upcoming election. May love guide us towards reconnection to each other as neighbors. And I share this stone for those who have died from COVID-19. On this day, when we remember those who were loved and who have died, we remember those who have died of COVID-19, for they were mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, young and old, mostly persons of color, and those with underlying health conditions. In the U.S., as of yesterday, 234,177 people have died of COVID. In the world, 1,186,233 people have died of COVID-19. I add this final stone for those joys and concerns that are held silently in your heart right now. We invite you to share them in person in our coffee hour after the service. We love to celebrate all that is happening in your life, and we want to be with you to help you go through the things that are your concerns. May all of our thoughts and prayers today be held in this loving community. Amen.
Good morning. Well, it's been a rather blustery night here. And storms can be scary. They make you want to hold the people you love close, make sure they're all safe as the storm passes. In this time, it's hard to do that. Some of us may not have seen our best friends, our family, aunts, uncles, grandparents, grandchildren, for what seems like ages now, especially with the winter holidays coming. We really want to be able to hug one another, to hold our loved ones close. But you know what? Sometimes it's hard for us to remember that we don't really need to be right next to each other to hold each other close. The people we love are always with us in some small way, no matter where they are or how long they've been gone.
The Invisible String by Patrice Karst, illustrated by Jeff Stevenson. Liza and Jeremy, the twins, were asleep one calm and quiet night. Suddenly it began to rain very hard. Thunder rumbled until it got so loud that it woke them up. "Mommy, Mommy," they cried out as they ran to her. "Don't worry, you two. It's just the storm making all that noise. Go back to bed." "We want to stay close to you," said Jeremy. "We're scared." Mom said, "You know we're always together, no matter what." "But how can we be together when you're out here and we're in bed?" said Liza. Mom held something right in front of them and said, "This is how." Rubbing their sleepy eyes, the twins came closer to see what Mom was holding. "I was about your age when my mommy first told me about the invisible string." I don't see a string, said Jeremy. You don't need to see the invisible string. People who love each other are always connected by a very special string made of love. But if you can't see it, how do you know it's there? Asked Liza. Even though you can't see it with your eyes, you can feel it with your heart and know that you are always connected to everyone you love. When you're at school and you miss me, your love travels all the way along the string until I feel it tug on my heart. And when you tug it right back, we feel it in our hearts, said Jeremy. Does Jasper the cat have an invisible string? Liza asked. She sure does, said Mom. And best friends like me and Lucy? Asked Liza. Best friends too. How far can the string reach? Anywhere and everywhere, Mom said. Would it reach me even if I were a submarine captain deep in the ocean? Asked Jeremy. Yes, said Mom, even there. Or a mountain climber? Even there. A ballerina in France? Even there. A jungle explorer? Even there. How about an astronaut out in space? Yes, even there. Then Jeremy quietly asked, Can my string reach all the way to Uncle Brian, even though he died? Yes, even there. Does the string go away when you're mad at us? Never, said Mom. Love is stronger than anger, and as long as love is in your heart, the string will always be there. Even when you get older and can't agree about things like what movie to see, or what game to play in the back seat, or what time to go to bed. Oh, that's right, you two should be in bed. And with that, they all laughed as Mom chased the twins back to their beds. Within a few minutes, they were asleep, even though the storm was still making the same loud noises outside. As they slept, they started dreaming of all the invisible strings they have, and all the strings their friends have, and their friends have, and their friends have, until everyone in the world was connected by invisible strings. And, from deep inside, they now could clearly see. No one is ever alone.
Hey.
Hey, it's the Powells. I'm Rhonda. This is Remy.
Finn.
That's Finn. We just want to talk a little bit about why we like going to UUFC. Ow, Remy. Finn, do you want to go first? Do you want to tell why you like going to UUFC?
I like the classes.
You like the classes? What do you like about the classes?
They're fun.
They're fun? Do you like the people or the subjects?
I like everything.
You just like everything?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Remy, what do you like about UUFC?
I like when we're done with our story, when we get to do the activities.
You like doing the activities in class, like spirit play, work. That's what you like.
And like making up at your own story if you want.
Oh yeah, in spirit play, when the kids are done hearing a story from the teacher, they can go get the story kits and they can tell the stories themselves. So you like that part?
I like that, and I also like to draw and play with the Play-Doh.
Oh, I like all those things too.
Really?
Finn, could you put that car seat down? So, I mean, this is what normal life is like for us, right? But we still really try to find time for going to UUFC. Remy drew a chalice. What I like about it actually is a lot of what the kids like. I like being a teacher because I learn a lot, really just from preparing for the lessons, but even more so from talking to the kids. They always have a really unique perspective on things. So we know it's weird probably to think about making a pledge for a place that isn't even technically open right now, but I mean, that's a different kind of chalice. we want to be open again, and we know that all of you want to be open again, and we're still trying to find ways to stay connected. RE is we've been putting together things in the mail and things that people can pick up and drop off, and so, and we need the building to be there, right, for us to be able to go back, hopefully sometime maybe in 2021, or earlier, who knows. But, so the virus is really weird. So, yeah, that's what we like about it, and we hope that you'll have a little bit of money to give to the church this year to help, especially with children's programming, from our point of view. Anything else you guys need to say? Wow, Remy, you drew UUFC a heart. What is this?
It's a,
Is that one kind of chalice?
that's church.
That's church.
Chalice.
That's a chalice. That's a heart. Okay, cool.
Bye, we gotta go.
Okay, we gotta go. Bye.
We are gone, they will remain. Wind and rock, fire and rain, they will remain when we return. The wind will blow and the fire will burn when we are gone. They will remain. Wind and rock, fire and rain, they will remain when we return. The wind will blow and the fire will burn.
Please join me in the spirit of meditation and prayer. These words by Kathleen McTeague are titled, "They Are With Us Still." In the struggles we choose for ourselves, in the ways we move forward in our lives and bring our world forward with us, it is right to remember the names of those who give us strength in this choice of living. It is right to name the power of hard lives well lived. We share a history with those lives. We belong to the same motion. They too were strengthened by what had gone before. They too were drawn on by the vision of what might come to be. Those who lived before us, those who struggled for justice and suffered injustice before us, have not melted into the dust and have not disappeared. They are with us still. The lives they lived hold us steady. Their words remind us and call us back to ourselves. Their courage and love evoke our own. We, the living, carry them with us. We are their voices, their hands, and their hearts. We take them with us, and with them choose the deeper path of living. This time of year is one where reminders of loss and change are all around us. The falling leaves are changing to shades of gold and red and orange and brown. They fall like rain through the sky. Warmer weather shifts to chilly nights, and we move our clocks back like we did last night to savor the hours of daylight. It's also this time of year that some, especially the little ones, enjoy dressing up and celebrating Halloween, also more formally known as All Hallows Eve or All Hallows Evening. This holiday is Christian in origin as it refers to the eve of All Saints' Day, which was introduced in the year 609 and is held on November 1st. And All Souls' Day, which is celebrated on November 2nd. It was a time for honoring the saints and for praying for the recently departed whose souls had not yet entered heaven. A practice several centuries later known as souling, which involved baking cakes and sharing them with groups of children and poor persons who came door to door to collect them on behalf of the souls suffering in purgatory, is thought to be the origin of trick-or-treating. Yet, while All Hallows Evening comes out of the Christian tradition, it is also a holiday that historically was heavily influenced by the harvest festivals and the pagan festivals for the dead. In particular, some associate All Hallows Evening with the Celtic festival known as Samhain. Samhain marked the end of the harvest season and a time for preparing for the colder and darker nights of winter ahead. It was a time when it was believed that the other world opened its doors and the souls living there could leave and revisit their homes. Friendly spirits were welcomed by family and friends with feasts and special places set for them at the family dinner table. Harmful or evil spirits weren't so welcome. So some dressed up in costume as a way to disguise oneself and not be discovered by the evil spirits and fairies lurking about. Thus, we have the beginning of the tradition of Halloween costumes. As our Unitarian Universalist tradition recognizes Christianity and earth-based spirituality as two sources of our faith, and with Halloween's rich history as a time to honor both saints and souls, it seemed fitting this morning to take a moment to do just that. We can consider those to be saints who have been part of our lives, who have exemplified our highest ideals, and who have modeled for us the very best of human nature. We can also consider those souls we have lost, the persons we have known and loved or have admired and who have died, persons whose intellect and whose kindness continue to influence us, persons who will live on in our memories, in our hearts, and through their contributions to society. UU Reverend Terry Davis writes, "Saints and souls are not terms used frequently in Unitarian Universalism, and we are likely to have different understandings of them. Yet perhaps we might all agree that they are references to those whom we hold deep in our hearts and high in our esteem. We may ascribe to saints a certain degree of holiness or a large degree of specialness. For some, saints might be understood as persons nearer to the rest of us to God. And for others, a saint may be a person more able than the rest of us to live a value-centered life." Close quote. In addition to honoring saints today, our recognition of All Hallows Eve is also about remembering beloved souls, those persons we have loved and who have died. I feel certain that every person here today has a connection to someone who has died, because death is an unavoidable part of life. We as UUs, and perhaps as optimists of all religious traditions, believe that love conquers death. For those whom I've lost and feel the pain of loss, it's the memory of them that lessens the pain of my loss. And I imagine it's the same for you. The pictures and names shared by you of your loved ones tell a story of memories. These memories are of so many varied stories. These memories are of a cousin who became a lifelong travel partner and friend, of a sister lost too young at the age of 18, of the extraordinary who were civil rights activists, founding members in the Clemson Council on Human Relations, and lifelong champions of the Clemson Child Developmental Center. There were memories of those who founded this fellowship. Memories of a former UUFC minister, lay minister, and choir director, and those who tended the fellowship's memorial garden and who now has its namesake. A memory of a mother who was independent and learned to fly at the age of 16, at a time when women were not encouraged to even go out on their own. Memories of a train enthusiast, of a cousin and a godfather. Memories of a son killed by a drunk driver at the young age of 37, leaving behind a wife and a son at the time who was 6, and a family who still misses him. Memories of a father who was a veteran of World War II and a mother who was a painter and an actress. Memories of the tragedy of suicide that linger still in the present. Memories of a husband who loved to travel and fish. Memories of a mother and father who were married for over 50 years. Memories of a mother who taught them the love of art and laughter. And memories of a father who taught them to appreciate dancing to country music. These people weren't perfect people who would meet the qualifications for sainthood that we considered earlier. However, they were perfectly human. They were flawed, ever-developing people. In their perfect humanness, they taught us how to grow into who we are, learning how to reach for connection, learning how to learn to forgive, learning how to be more loving in our daily lives. They taught us how to be perfectly human too. As we experience the ritual of remembrance today in this service, my hope for each of you is that the love you have shared with those you have lost continues to guide and sustain you. And if our hearts still feel broken, may we feel grateful for them today. For they remind us that we were people who mattered to people who mattered to us. And may we remember that grief has its own timetable, and that we can trust that our healing process will find its own and sure footing. May it be so. Amen.
This is a 3-day holiday weekend, the ancient Celtic festival of Samhain, also known as Halloween, yesterday. All Saints' Day today and All Souls' Day tomorrow, which merged the ancient indigenous tradition to become the Mexican Day of the Dead in Mexico. They picnic on the cemeteries and share food with the beloved departed. While some cultures try to chase away the ghosts, the people of Mexico invite them to be present for the festivities. Remembrance Day is about the ancestors, the people who made us what we are and shaped the culture in which we live. So today I want to say thank you for my ancestors, some biological, some cultural, some intellectual, some spiritual. And as I do so, I will pause so that you can name and thank your ancestors as well. Thank you, Mom, for your heroic, if unsuccessful, efforts as a single parent to turn me into a proper middle-class wife and mother. I know you tried, and it was in my resistance to your efforts that I was able to define myself. And you loved me anyway. Thank you, too, for passing on your passion for politics, derived from your grandmother who marched for women's suffrage, for your sense of humor, your compassion for those in need of care and aid, and your devotion to telling and preserving family stories. Thank you, Dorothy Mary Stewart Hewitt. For what do I thank my absent father, Ted? Well, for some good genes and for an extended family that provided some needed male support and role models. My grandfather and his older brother, my father's brother and his brother-in-law, who helped my mother in many ways and included us in family gatherings, and uncles as well on my mother's side, her brother George and brother-in-law, and my great uncle, the optometrist, who fitted me with my first pair of glasses. Thank you, Raymond, Carlton, Duane, Brett, Clyde, George, and Frank. Thank you, my long dead in-laws, who are not my ancestors, but are the ancestors of my children and grandchildren. Thank you for accepting me to share your son as my life partner, for being doting grandparents, for having a sense of adventure that you passed on to your son and he to his children. Thank you, Ruth and Carl Ulbrich. Thanks to my female relatives who offered a diversity of models of adult women in a changing world. The glamorous aunt who introduced me to the arts. The conventional aunt who wanted to adopt me when my father left. The hardworking, cheerful aunt with 8 kids, a lazy and demanding husband, and a dairy farm. My grandmother who had a sense of life as an adventure. My father's cousin Isabel, who was strong and independent and my favorite person to see every year at family reunions. My older sister, who delayed her dreams to marry and raise children before pursuing her career in music and was a role model also. Thank you, Marion, Laura, Olive, Isabel, and Pat. Thanks to all the people who encouraged me to pursue my academic dreams. My elementary school principal, lots of high school teachers. Miss Temple, a single lady who left her estate to my church where my mother's family had attended for generations to provide scholarships to students from Center Congregational Church that enabled me to go to college. Professors who inspired me to become an economist and use it to make the world a better place. Colleagues who worked with me on research projects, wrote books with me, and encouraged me to broaden my horizons. Thank you, Rose Metling, Miss Temple, Dorothy Goodwin, Audrey Beck, Ryan, Russell, and Jim. Thanks to those who guided me on my spiritual and religious path, especially Jean Copenhaver, who died this year, and Cynthia Prescott, who died in 2016. And to those who created the faith communities that nurtured me, especially Meryl Palmer and Albert and Bernice Holt, and the Braggers, who built and sustained this faith community. The Congregationalists, among whom I was raised and who bequeathed covenant and democratic process to our faith tradition. The Transcendentalists, with their commitment to helping everyone flourish and embracing the great social movements of their day. Thanks also to my Celtic religious ancestors for this holiday, for their efforts to intertwine a kinder, gentler, more universalist form of Christianity with the old religion centered on living in harmony with the earth through the changing seasons. They offered a tradition whose trinity in the goddess, Bridget, in her 3 incarnations as maiden, mother, crone, honored the eternal feminine. Thank you, Meryl, Myra, John, Albert, Bernice, my favorite heretic Pelagius, and my New England and Celtic religious forebears. I keep your memories alive and share them so that others may do the same. For all who went before, who wore a path that we might walk on, who lighted the way with their legacy of words, institutions, customs, and cultures, we give thanks today. Amen, and blessed be. As we come to the end of our worship service today, we also arrive at the beginning of our ministry for the week ahead. We hope that this morning has been meaningful for you and that you leave here with a sense of connection and possibility. Now I have a few announcements to share. First of all, we are in the process of forming a ministerial search committee, which will be doing its work in the summer of 2021 and the spring of 2022. And we're inviting people who are interested in serving on that committee to offer their names as possible candidates. 4 will be elected by the congregation and 3 more appointed by the board to ensure diversity. We're especially looking for at least 1 more male candidate and possibly some younger candidates. You have to be a member. which means you need to be at least 16 and join the congregation. And of course, we hope that you'll be around here if you're a student until the summer of 2022, or at least to May 2022, when we hope we'll have identified our next minister. There's some events this week that you might want to pay attention to. There's Zoom bingo at 6:30 on Thursday, Zoom social time today at 11:30, parent chat Monday at 7, coffee with Christina on Wednesday at 2, a vigil on peace and politics the day after the election. That will be Wednesday at 6. There's also a grounds work day this coming Saturday, the 7th of November at 7, and the more hands, the merrier. Social distancing and masks, of course, but there is work to be done on the grounds, and it's always a chance to be with other people at a safe distance and helping keep the place going. And finally, probably most important, don't forget to turn in your pledge.
For our benediction, let us hear the words from poet Mary Oliver. To live in this world, you must be able to do 3 things. To love what is mortal, to hold it against your bones, knowing that your own life depends on it. And when the time comes, let it go. To let it go. Our service has ended. We extinguish our chalice with these words. We extinguish this chalice, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. May it be so.